In today's episode of the Hexagon Challenge, we have a double header against Paris Saint-Germain. First up, it's the Coup semi-final, followed by a Ligue game. Let's see if we can take them out twice inside a couple of days. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hexagon Challenge here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well. Before we crack into today's episode, please remember to leave a thumbs up down below. It is greatly appreciated, and also if you have not done so already, then hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on if you are enjoying the content on the channel. So, at the end of last episode, after a very dull game against Nice, which we drew 0-0, we were expecting to come back for a Ligue game against Paris Saint-Germain. The game immediately after that Nice one is the reason that we're coming back early, because we did progress in the Coup de France, beating Stade Rennais 3-0. A much better performance than what we put out a few days prior, and it took us until the 6th minute to get our first goal. Puig slotting Henrique for it, and he put that away at the near post to make it 1-0 early on. Then in the 24th minute, Dembele made his way into the box. The ball a bit messy from a shot from him, but he got slotted in from a lovely Agume pass, and it made it 2-0 at the halftime break. And then in the second half, we were able to wrap things up at 3-0. Ricky Puig outside the box, and for Hudson-Odoi, lovely finish there into the top right corner, and it was a pretty comfortable 3-0 win. You look at the stats, we thoroughly deserved that scoreline. 29 shots, 9 on target. Stade Rennais only having 1 shot overall with 0 on target. So, as I said, that was good. We got back on the horse fairly soon after. What happened in the other quarterfinals, both Lyon and PSG both progressed on penalties, drawing with Strasbourg and Lens respectively, and Marseille were able to get the job done 2-1 over second division Paris FC, and we ended up getting drawn PSG in the semi-finals. A bit of a shame, as it probably would have been easier against Lyon or Marseille, but we're going to have to play them at some point probably. They probably would have made their way to the final, so we are going to be playing them twice today. And in Ligue 1, off the back of that Coup de France effort, our form has been good for the most part. We'll start with the first win, Bordeaux at home, a 1-0 win here. Our goal coming from pretty much the first chance of the game in the 3rd minute. Ampadu, a lovely ball out to Hudson-Odoi. He found Henrique, and on the volley, a nice effort there into the top left corner, and that was the game. We thoroughly dominated it, much like that Stade Rennais Coup de France game, as you can tell by the stats, but not quite as clinical as we were in that game, but it got the job done 1-0 to keep us in the title hunt at that stage, albeit it might have been a bit of a stretch. But then we put out our first team again a week later, but for some reason we could only muster a 1-1 draw at 19th placed Guingamp. Ricky Puig got our first goal. It was in the 13th minute. They headed the corner clear out to Dembele. He found Puig. Shinton probably could have done better in goal there, but the ball ended up in the back of the net. We had a goal ruled out also in the first half for a very questionable offside, and in the end, that was a very soft goal that Guingamp got in the 88th minute, and that is what bit us in the bum in the end. A game which we didn't dominate as much as the prior two that we played, but still we looked the much better team. Just that late goal pegging us back, and that was a very frustrating draw against a team who might not even be in Ligue on next season. So to drop points to them is very frustrating, especially considering the team that we did put out. And then most recently, a couple of days before this game, we put our rotation out to keep the legs fresh for some big games coming up in this month of March against Nantes, who are in 20th, and we bounced back at home with a 4-1 win here. Edwin Quintero picking up a hat-trick inside 6 minutes. The first goal in the 29th, Amin Ghaly found him, just getting that past the diving keeper at the left-hand side along the ground, and it fizzed into the net. That was 1-0. Very shortly after that, Pascal Angelini, our young winger, slotted Quintero for, and he put that away nicely just inside the post to make it 2-0. And to finish off his hat-trick is Kamara, who puts a long ball forward to him. He gets it. The keeper beaten his near post, a bit poor from him there, and that was 3-0. We took him off in the second half. We gave Flavio Henrique a little bit of time on the field, and Stemennik slotted him away in the 88th minute to make it 4-0. We conceded a late goal, which was a little bit frustrating, but at this stage it was not an issue at all. We had well and truly wrapped up the game by then. Nice ball there from Duomo in for a gun, and that made it 4-1 Monaco over Nice. This was more like what we had been doing prior to the Guingamp game. We had a ton of shots, they had not many, and we got a pretty comfortable win there. So that is how we have been doing. We'll have a quick look at the Ligue table before we get into this Coup de France game. And you can see that PSG are 9 points ahead of us with 11 games to go in the season. We really do need to win that second game of today's episode. Otherwise, I think it's going to be all she wrote. It might already be the case, in fact. But if we don't win that game, I think we're pretty much locked in for second, no matter what happens the rest of the season. I don't think we're going to be catching them unless they fall off a cliff. I don't think Brest or Lens will be catching us in second unless we fall off a cliff. So it's looking pretty locked in for second in Ligue 1 at the moment. And after today's episode, depending on what happens, we might even completely ignore that until the last game of the season, depending on what happens in the Coup de France and, of course, the Europa League, which is coming up. That is going to be tomorrow's episode. We have had the draw for that, and it is Real Sociedad from Spain that we are taking on. They are currently 5th in La Liga Santander. So it looks a team that we should be actually beating. You can see they finished 3rd in their Champions League group, and then they got by Atalanta 6-4 on aggregate to make it into that second knockout round of this Europa League. So that is the team we're going to be taking on in tomorrow's episode. Hopefully we can get past them and get closer to the semi-finals of that competition, which is what the board expects us to do. But we are going to get into this first game against PSG, the Coup de France semi-final, probably the more important game of today's episode, if we're being honest, because, as I said, we might not be able to catch PSG the way that Ligue 1 is going, but if we're able to beat them here, we should have a good chance against Lyon, who progressed on penalties over Marseille in the Coup de France final. Injury-wise, there's only one injury we're carrying into this game, and it's Callum Hudson-Odoi, at least a more recent injury. He picked up an injury not too long ago, and he is going to be out for these games, plus the Europa League second round as well. Not a massive issue, as Gabriel Fernandez is back now, so we have got our main winger back, so it's not going to affect us too much in terms of our starting 11. We will come back to you guys when this match coverage starts for the Coup de France semi-final, the first of two today against PSG. So we are the home team for this tie. Of course, PSG did beat us here earlier in the Ligue 1 season thanks to a late penalty. We are putting out our first team for the first time in a long time. There's the PSG lineup. We've kept Flavio Henrique up front. Very tempted to play Quintero in this first game. We might give him a chance in the second, depending on how players recover. But coming off that hat-trick, I was very tempted. The assistant coaches, in terms of star rating, do rank him above Flavio Henrique now, but I compared their stats, and I still think that Henrique is better compared to him for that advanced forward role that he will be playing. So we'll see how we get on with this first team. This is probably the game that we are more likely to win. Our squad will be fresher going into this one. The second game, as I said, it's possibly not as important in my mind anyway. I think we're going to start giving up on the Ligue 1 title soon, especially if we can't get a result today. There's a good chance there for João Felix. But yeah, we'll see how we get on over these two games. We are playing left to right, as you would have seen in the white and red. PSG playing right to left, and we are 10 minutes in and it's still 0-0. Throw into Monaco at the 15-minute mark. Tessier will find Puig, although the ball back is cut out by Mbappe and Tapsoba will be back to cover. This is the first time we've been able to put out our ideal starting 11 for a wee while. Nianzou, Fernandez and Mulder have been sort of carrying niggly injuries for a wee while now as Dembele makes his way to the box. Tight angle. Always got it in though when we are 1-0 up after 15 minutes. Was not expecting that to find the back of the net. Don't know how the PSG goalkeeper has been beaten there, to be honest. That was a pretty poor attempt of a save, if you can call it that. I thought Dembele might look to slot Flavio Henrique through here, but this is nice from Dembele, and I really don't know what the PSG keeper's doing there, but we don't mind. 1-0 up after 15 minutes. PSG trying to get something going there in the 33rd minute, but we snuff the ball out and are able to do something, hopefully on the counter here. Dembele finds Henrique. Maybe he should have tried to find Dembele again. The ball actually goes out for a corner. PSG not doing a good job in clearing that away. So Dembele's going to put this in. Todibo heads it clear, and now Bakar is going to try and get something going for them, albeit Ampadu is going to be able to cover that ball pretty comfortably. And now Goron will look to get something going on the counter for us. Tries to find Flavio Henrique. It's headed to Gabriel Fernandez. His first game starting for a while anyway. Although he loses the ball to Corentin Tolisso, a player we tried to sign last season, but he chose PSG over us. And now the former Southampton player Augusto on the ball. He gives the ball away though. And now Ampadu looks to slot Henrique through. Somehow he got on the end of that Flavio, but a good save this time from the PSG keeper. Keeps it at 1-0. That one probably a slightly better chance than the Dembele one. Nianzou with a header from the corner that Dembele puts in, but it's high and wide. Still 1-0 after 37 minutes. But now PSG are in our final third and looking to get something going. Vardiol in a lot of space, but a good interception from Puig. And Dembele finds Henrique and he's past his defender. Can he make it past this other one? He can, surely. 2-0. This is more like it. Monaco in form today, and we have got a 2-0 lead heading into hopefully half-time in this Coup de France semi-final, and maybe we can go back-to-back in this competition as a manager, and the club can hopefully go 3 in a row. Obviously, we do have a final after this, and we've still got a second half to get through, but we have started things off very nicely today. 2-0 coming up towards half-time. And we have got to half-time, and to be honest, since that early PSG chance, it has been all Monaco. As we saw that Dembele goal, maybe the goalkeeper should have done better, but we'll take it. And then Flavio Henrique able to get past 2 defenders from a Dembele ball. He's been the best performer so far, I think it's fair to say, and was able to round the keeper more or less and slot that away. And we are looking very good despite being beaten out quite comprehensively on possession. We have had a lot more shots. And things are looking well. We won't make any changes and we'll get into the second half, which PSG will kick off playing left to right, and they will be looking to get something going very quickly. Obviously, this is a knockout game. No two-legged affairs in this Coup de France. Hopefully we can keep this up for a remaining 40 minutes. Mariba for chance here. We're going to have to take Gabriel Fernandez off because he has absolutely died in the hole, for lack of a better term. Good block from Ampadu there. We're just waiting for this highlight to peter out before we can make that sub. As Tessier is now on the ball. Good ball for Henrique. Can we make it free? You betcha. Surely we're in the Coup de France final now. And this is much more like it. We've been very up and down recently, but this is a bit of a statement when I hope 3-0, albeit still with half an hour to go against Paris Saint-Germain. You can see the ball here from Tessier. Henrique timing his run nicely. He's able to burn those defenders off for PSG. Slot that away in the back of the net, and we are 3-0 up, and we will make that change when we get the chance, which will be right about now. Amin Ghali indeed will be the player to come on for Gabriel Fernandez, but otherwise very happy with how the rest of these guys are playing. Half an hour to hold on to a 3-goal lead. Throw into Monaco, 63rd minutes, and not long after we brought Gary on, and he receives the ball. 1-2 with Mulder, makes his way in the box. Has a shot, very good save that time from the PSG goalkeeper to keep it at 3-0, but we are thoroughly dominating this game, and hopefully that's the theme for both games in today's episode, because if we're able to pull this out in the second game, we might keep ourselves alive in Ligue 1. That highlight peters out, still 3-0 with 23 to go. Corner to Monaco in the 71st minute. Dembele to whip this in. Tapsoba gets his head to it, hits the post. That was close to 4-0, but it remains 3-0 with 20 to go. Goal kick to Monaco, 75th minute. We play it out to Tapsoba, and he looks to find Ghali, I should say. He finds Henrique, and he could be on for a hat-trick here, and he chips the keeper. Flavio Henrique with a hat-trick. We're glad we didn't bring Quintero in for him today. And we are pumping PSG. This is very good to see. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. We are 4-0 up after 75 minutes. This ball from Ghali, very nice. And Henrique, yet again, just too much pace for the PSG defence that have got in place today. Lovely chip just in the back of the net. And with that, I think we'll make some changes because we want to keep some of these first team players fresh for the game. And I think it's 2 days' time. I think we'll take the 2 players on yellow hearts who aren't in the green off. So that is Mulder and Ethan Ampadu. Alvaro Fernandez on for Mulder and Koulibaly for Ampadu. The rest of these guys having blinders, and while Henrique is in form, we've got Edwin Quintero that we can use in the second game, and that's not a bad option at all. 4-0 with 15 to go. Good stuff. Corner for Monaco, 85th minute. Can we make it a handful to nil? Not yet, as that is cleared away from the PSG defence, but we get the ball back. Ricky Puig, nice ball out for Fernandes, and he's got a lot of space here to put something in. Puig has a shot blocked. Agume with a header, but the PSG goalkeeper makes a good save that time. 4-0, but we're coming up to full time, and it's looking very good here. And the minutes are ticking down. We don't even have to slow the tempo down with this scoreline. We are well and truly thumping these guys today. And hopefully there's a repeat dose coming up in the second game. Fernandes is good here down to Gali. And Enrique might be in for 4 here. And he is his 4th goal of the day, Flavio Enrique. And we are going to beat them 5-0. We've given them a fistful and they have not been able to handle it today, Paris Saint-Germain. And hopefully this puts them in the mud a bit, because if we're able to beat them in the second game, they might start dropping their heads, and that could be something that works in our favour. Our heads are certainly going to be lifted after that. Nice ball again from Gowley to put Enrique through. And as we tick over the added time, we are pumping these guys 5-0. Love to see it, and we, off the back of this, should hope to see us winning the Coup de France against Lyon in the final. That's going to be a game to come up in a future episode. And that performance, I'm not going to lie, came out of nowhere a bit. We were very clinical with our chances today. Ousmane Dembele getting the first goal, as we said, at half-time. Got a bit lucky maybe with a pretty poor goalkeeping error there, leading it in a tight angle from the near post. But after that was the Flavio Enrique show, with assists to him from both Dembele and Gali, 4 goals and an absolute thumping. And we can only be very happy with that. Hopefully that lifts the boys' heads, and we will come back to you guys when we start the match coverage for the Ligue game against the same opposition, but that one at the Parc de Princes. So we are at the Parc de Princes for the second game of the doubleheader. This one, of course, being in Ligue. The PSG team looks pretty similar in ours, and then we have just decided to go after the same team after that 5-0 win in the Coup de France. Our players recovered in time, putting them on a bit of rest, so no need to change something that isn't broke. You can see we are 9 points behind PSG, so a win here would take it down to 6 points with 10 games to go. Still unlikely we'd catch them, but it would give us a chance, and it wouldn't, no matter what happens in this game, even if we lose it, we're still going to be 13 points ahead of Brest, because they lost their game against, I believe it was Guingamp. So no matter what, we're still going to be in a very good position for second in the league. It's just all about now whether we can get our title challenge back on track, or whether it's a bridge too far. If we drop points here, I suggest it would be, especially if we lose. And PSG have kicked off playing left to right, and they've started this game a lot better than they did the first one. And somehow, I was going to say somehow have kept that out, but their third chance in about half a minute, and Antonio Augusto, the former Southampton man, puts it away. Gourlon with some good work here. First up, it was Felix, I believe. I know Mariba had a shot. He parried it away a bit dodgily. Augusto put a ball in for Felix. Gourlon with a very good save there, but he can't keep the third one out. Our defence need to be a bit more switched on. I think it's fair to say we're 1-0 down early. Throw into PSG in the 8th minute, and they look to take advantage of this lead early and maybe make it 2, but we intercept the ball and maybe we can strike back as we get it out to Dembele, Tessier, Ampadu. Can we regain some of that form from the first game in that Coup de France semi-final, that 5-0 win, which didn't really see coming, but very happy with it, although that's a poor pass from Puig, and they knock it back to the goalkeeper, do PSG, and they might even get something going from this long kick, although taps over, heads it clear, but only as far as Guendouzi, out to Mbappe, the former Monaco man. What can he do against us? He's been at PSG for a long time in this save now, and he burns his defender there. It's a tackle from Tessier, and it's been given as a penalty. We'll see what VAR thinks. Honestly, it looks like a penalty from what gets given in this game, and it is a penalty. So we've started this game off blimmin' terribly, it's fair to say. Maybe I should have done some rotation. Yeah, this hasn't gone to plan. I think our Liga title challenge is in the mud, and geez, I tell you what, Goron's had a good effort to save that, but Mbappe with pinpoint accuracy just gets that inside the near post. And PSG, for probably the first time in the save, are really giving us a bit of a pumping today. They were very lucky in that first game of the Ligue 1 season. We gave away a late penalty which they took advantage of to win 1-0 at our house, but otherwise we've beaten them in all the other games. But yeah, today it looks like they might be fully onto it, although Enrique's in a nice position here, has a shot, but it's a poor one. Yeah, we need to get things going quickly. 2-0 down after 10 minutes. Free kick to Monaco in the 22nd minute. Agume to put this in. Guardiol heads it clear, and it was Augusto who gets it out to Ampadu, but we might get something else going here, and we're going to need to get something going quickly if we want to rescue anything from this game, because PSG have shown up to play today. Shaloba over to the goalkeeper with the rather difficult name. There's Guardiol back to Chaloba again, and they look to play out from the back. We just haven't started nearly as well as we did the other day in that Coup de France semi-final, it's fair to say, albeit that was at home and this game is away. And now Enrique's played through. Hopefully he can make it. 6 goals in 2 games, but that's a pretty bad miss from him. And it remains 2-0 halfway through the first half. Free kick to PSG. We've got 3 players on yellow cards now. Tessier, Ampadu and Dembele. And 2 of those players are having stinkers as well. So we might have to make some half-time changes. Maybe I should have rotated the squad, but after you beat a team 5-0, you sort of just think you should leave things the way they are, but maybe we've got a bit complacent after that, because PSG well on top in this game, albeit we've had one good chance that Enrique couldn't put on target, and Mbappe with a shot there. It is wide, still 2-0 with 12 minutes to go in the first half. Throw into PSG at the 37-minute mark, and that's a missed header, but Ampadu gets on the end of this. Enrique gets his head to it, but can only flick it on to Chaloba. It's back to their goalkeeper, who finds Corentin Tolisso. Finds Antonio Augusto, Joe Gomez that is. I've got a few ex-Liverpool players in this team of PSG. They've got Salah not even in the squad today, and they've got Robertson on the bench, Guendouzi in the box. Gomez, hopefully we don't give away another penalty here. He'll play that back for Tolisso, Guendouzi, Felix, Tolisso. Oh, it's lovely play from PSG. They have played us like a fiddle there, and they are 3-0 up before the 40-minute mark, and we might even make some changes before half-time there, because I am not impressed with what I'm seeing. To be fair, we gave away a penalty, and you've got to live with that, but this was very nice ball from Tolisso. Felix, our defence rushed up, played him onside, and it's not looking good, it's fair to say, as we watch another replay of this goal. You can see Felix, and he's well onside. He's a decent stride onside. It's just our last defender there has rushed up and played him onside. The game a little bit buggy at the moment, it feels like. But what we will do is we'll make some changes, because I'm really not happy with this. Ousmane Dembele, you can get off the field on the yellow card. We will bring Gali on for you and switch sides between Fernandes and Gary. I'm also going to take Tessier off. We'll switch Mulder out to that right back, and we'll bring Fernandes on. We've also got Ampadu. There's a lot of players having stinkers at the moment, but we'll take those 2 off, considering they are on yellow cards. Send a bit of a message to the boys, hopefully. 3-0 down after 38 minutes. And a throw into PSG not long after those changes. A good interception by Agume, though, and he should be able to slot Enrique through here, but he finds Fernandes instead. Now Puig, and we really need a goal before half-time. Otherwise, it feels like our Ligue title challenge is over, and we're more or less going to come second. Gali, that's a great chance, but I feel like he went for the wrong side of the goal there. Puts it over the bar, and it's still 3-0. We've had 2 really good chances in this first half, to be fair. Flavio Enrique putting one wide that he was just slotting away for fun in the last game, and that one for Gary. 2 very good chances. Now Enrique's on the end of this. Looked like he's probably offside. The goalkeeper puts it over the bar, and he wasn't offside, so there's another good chance for us. Just lacking that clinical edge from that Coup de France game. We have this corner that Enrique puts in, but it is headed away by Joe Gomez. Puig on the end of it, but we're running backwards, although now he gets going the right way. He tries to find Enrique. It is cleared. Nothing happening so far for us. And when we do get a chance, we need to be a lot more clinical. PSG are going to get that ball from our clearance from a throw that they have had. Tolisso will play that up towards Mulder. Maybe he thinks he did sign for us after that effort, but Fernandes on the ball. Can he play Enrique in? No, he's going to play that back to Puig with a little fancy footwork pass there. Mulder back to Puig. Try to find Enrique. He can't get to it. And we're offside anyway there. So it's going to be 3-0 at half-time, hopefully. I say hopefully because it almost looked like they might get another highlight there. But that is an incredibly poor performance from us off the back of a 5-0 win in the game prior. I think we might have made PSG angry, it's fair to say. Do we throw the water bottle? I think we throw the water bottle. Look, to be honest, not many of them are that demotivated, so I think we'll just tell those guys to take a hard nut pill. Or for lack of, well, we won't do that, but we'll tell them we have faith in them. And to be fair, that hasn't ruined things as much as I thought it would, which isn't too bad. We'll get into the second half. We need a bit of a miracle from here. We need to start playing like it was the Coup de France game. As you can see, they've bought Mo Salah on for João Felix, which is a bit unfair. They've got money to burn, haven't they, old PSG? So we've still got a fair bit of work to catch up to them, although we are definitely capable of beating them, as we showed last game, but it's doing it on a regular basis as they take it out for a corner, so we might have an early chance here. But they are the defending Champions League champions, so losing to them is no shame in it. But yeah, that's where we want to get to here at Monaco, and this is giving us a bit of a reality check as to how much work it might take. Still 3-0 down as we get into the second half, and PSG do have a goal kick, and they play out from the back. Joe Gomez out on the right back. He plays that forward towards his former Liverpool teammate Mo Salah. They find Mbappe now, and they're looking to get something going again early in the second half, trying to make it 4-0. And maybe they're trying to exact the revenge with an exact 5-0 scoreline in today's game after what happened midweek, as Henri gets on the end of this ball. Slide tackle dispossesses him for a moment, and now Ampadu on the ball. He'll find Henri. That's a good ball. He tries to put it away, but this time the PSG goalkeeper with a good save. He looks a bit more up for this game than he was midweek. Agume has the ball taken off him when trying to line up a shot, and it remains 3-0 early in the second half, but we have a throw-in, which Mulder will take to Gabriel Fernandes on the opposite wing today, after we took Dembele off early as he was having a stinker. Mulder puts a ball in. It will go out for a corner though, a deflection, and Flavio Henrique will put this in. Can he find a head of Nianzu or someone? Taps over, but it's a good save from Sio Celescu. I believe that's how you say that goalkeeper's name. I won't say it too often because it's an absolute mouthful, but we will have another corner. This time it's cleared away from the PSG defence, and we're struggling to get things going, and when we do have shots, the goalkeeper's doing a pretty good job, although that's a nice effort, but I think Henrique's offside. The graphic hasn't come up, and we know what that means. It usually means the goal's going to get ruled out, as VAR will check it, but it is indeed disallowed due to offside. We'll see if we get a replay to show just how close this was, and we will. Fernandes back to Puig. It's a lovely ball, but he is a straight offside. To be fair, he'd probably actually put himself back onside. If it was rugby, you'd probably allow that, but in soccer, it's still 3-0. We've got half an hour to go. There's a lot of players having stinkers. I think the player that we might take off here is actually Agume for Koulibaly, just because he's in the midfield and we need to actually create something now. So we'll make that change. A little bit harsh on Quintero. He's probably a player who could change it for us, but we've made those first half subs. The team's just been an absolute shambles today, it's fair to say, and we are 3-0 down. After that great midweek win, we are coming down with a rather large thump in today's game, and as I said, I think our league, our title dreams are gone at this stage. We are pretty much playing for second, and I say playing for second when we've got a 13-point gap on third place. That should actually not really be playing for that either, so league our season might be petering out now, albeit we're in a very good position for Champions League football next season. And Salah trying to get on the end of a Robertson cross. That sounds familiar, but he puts it over the bar, albeit from after a Gordon save, so that was a bit harsh on him. They have this corner. Gordon comes out and saves it nicely. I think we'll tell the boys to fire up. 20 minutes to go. We're 3-0 down. We need a miracle. Throw into PSG. Robertson to Mariba. He'll get the ball back. We'll find Guendouzi. Mariba, the wonderful midfielder, tries to find, I believe that would have been Augusto up top, but they get the possession back after we clear that ball. And it's now Shaloba over to Joe Gomez, another Liverpool player, back to Mariba. Here's a long shot. Oh, he's very good at those. Just over the bar. It's a goal kick. And it's just not our day. 3-0 with 12 to go. PSG on the attack here. A block from Puig. Mariba on the ball, though. Back to Andy Robertson, the Scotsman. Guendouzi, they just camped down our end today. They look a lot better than they did midweek. It's a good effort from Antonio Augusto, but Gordon had a pretty good sight on that. It's still 3-0. We are in struggle street. We're in the last minute of this game. We're in the right third for one of the few times we try and get something going, but let's be frank, it hasn't happened all day. It probably won't happen now. And indeed, Guendouzi intercepts it. It goes out, and that was utterly pathetic. No one showed up at all. And after that midweek game, it was an utter shambles. As I said, I suppose we've won the game that probably is going to mean the most, because I think no matter what happened in that game, we probably have more of a chance of winning that Coup de France, being that one-off game, than catching these guys up in Ligue 1. But that's still a very disappointing performance with the PSG ratings. Quickly, in case you are interested, they were all over us today. One of the few times in the save so far that a team has outperformed us in terms of shots, and they absolutely dominated possession this time. They made possession count. They got off to a flyer, an early goal and a penalty, and from there we just never got into it. A really poor performance. I don't know what the assistant's thinking after that game, because he might be smoking something from Amsterdam, because I don't know what game he was watching. We've already thrown the ball, so we won't do that again. We'll tell him that we just weren't happy with that. And we'll look at the league table soon, but as I said, I think that's our League A chances well and truly gone title-wise. So here is the table after that game. You can see that indeed it was Guingamp who beat Brest. We had that right. In the other game too, Marseille have suffered a loss to Sochaux Montbéliard, but not many of those games actually going to impact us. We are pretty much in our own division in second now. 12 points behind PSG, 10 games to go. Look, we put up a very good fight, especially in the first half of the season, but it just feels like they're going to just stroll it now. And hopefully now that we've got PSG out the way too, we can just consolidate second, albeit we've got a 13-point cushion, so we should be able to do that. And we can now focus on the Europa League and that Coup de France final. We'll have a quick look at the schedule just to let you guys know what is going to be coming up straight off the back of this. In tomorrow's episode, it will be the double-header, Real Sociedad in the Europa League second knockout round. Hopefully we can progress this year after getting done by Southampton last season. And off the back of that, we'll probably be focusing on the Europa League up until that Coup de France final towards the end of April. Because with all due respect to Ligue, as I said, the way the points table is looking, there's not much in it now. I think we're going to be finishing second and quite comfortably, unless we fall off a cliff. But hopefully we can produce more performances like we did in the first game today, and less like in that second game. A bit of a episode of two games instead of a game of two halves, I suppose you would call it, today. So, as I said, Real Sociedad tomorrow, Europa League. Hopefully we can do better than we did last year in that. But if you did enjoy today's episode, one very good win and one very bad loss, then please do leave a thumbs up down below. If you have not done so already and enjoy the content here, then please also hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on. And until tomorrow's episode, where we are back in the Europa League, keep on keeping on. I'll see you then. Cheers.